Hello viewers, welcome to my channel on Vaira Citadel. I'm Nalini Rajagovindan and I'm here to teach you on topics of paper 1 from UGC-NET exam. In my last video, we were discussing about different types of variables. In this video, we are going to learn about different scales used in measuring these variables. There are actually 4 different scales which are in a hierarchical order. By choosing the higher scale of measurement, the researcher will be able to use more statistical calculations to come to more accurate conclusions. Otherwise, they will be restrained by the limitations of the scale. So it is important that you know about the different scales and what they can measure and what not. Well, the 4 different scales used are nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Starting from the nominal up to the ratio scale, it is in the increasing order of efficiency and accuracy. In this table, key points pertaining to each scale is listed and examples are given, and also what measures of central tendency can be used with the corresponding scales are tabulated. The 4 types of scales are compared on these criteria. We will see each one of these scale in detail. About the measures of central tendency, which is a topic in statistics, I will make a separate. The level of measurement of the variable depends on the nature of variables and also the way in which the researchers collect the data. For example, the variable marital status or gender can be measured only in nominal scale because they can take up the values like married, unmarried, or divorced for the variable marital status and male or female for the variable gender. On the other hand, the variable salary can be measured in multiple levels. The variables in nominal scale can either be dichotomous, like gender, where it can take up either of the 2 values, namely male or female, or it can be categorical, like marital status, where it can take up 3 or 4 values. Sometimes we can assign numbers to these values like 1 for male and 2 for female and vice versa also. But you cannot perform any mathematical operation with this number because there is no meaningful order in this number. So these variables are also called as discrete variables or categorical variables or qualitative variables. And for measuring these variables, only nominal scale can be used. Nominal means name. Names are used only to identify or categorize the objects, nothing more. Hence, this is considered to be the lowest scale of measurement. And many statistical calculations cannot be performed with these type of variables. The possible measures of central tendency is only mode. The other calculations possible are range and frequency distribution. Median and mean cannot be calculated because there is no order here. So you cannot find the middle value or the average value. Ordinal scale. It is also a categorical scale, but unlike nominal scale, here the categories can be ordered, but they don't have equal intervals. There is no absolute zero. The zero here is arbitrary. For example, when you ask the people to give rating in the review, people give either 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, or 5 stars. We know that there is some order. Obviously, 5 stars are greater than 4 stars, 4 greater than 3, so on and so forth. But the difference between 5 stars and the 4 stars may not be equal to the difference between 2 stars and 3 stars. Another common example would be when you rate your students' performance in 5 categories like excellent, very good, good, average, and poor. You are using ordinal data. Now we know the order, of course. Very good is better than good, and good is better than average, and average is better than poor. But nobody could tell whether the difference between excellent and very good is the same as the difference between very good and good, because we don't know the intervals between each data. The statistical calculations that could be done with this type of scale is limited to mode and median, because we know the order and we can find the middle value, but not the mean because of the lack of equal intervals between the data. And now the third scale is interval scale. This scale is higher than ordinal and nominal scale, but lower than ratio scale. Here in interval scale, in addition to natural order, the data will have equal intervals, but still there is no absolute zero. For example, the scores in a MCQ test. We know there is order. We know the difference between 20 and 21. The score 20 and 21 is the same as the difference between the scores 95 and 96. When talking about measures of central tendency, which is a topic in basic statistics, with interval data we can calculate mean in addition to mode and median. And this is the advantage of this scale over the other two. Standard deviation can also be calculated. But still, since the zero here is not absolute but arbitrary, other calculations are not possible. More examples for interval data are temperature in Fahrenheit and Celsius scale. When we say no absolute zero, what we mean here is that we can never say there is no temperature. Ratio scale, and this is the highest scale possible. It can be arranged in a meaningful order, and the distance between each member of the scale is known and it is equal, and there is an absolute zero. That is, complete absence of some characteristics is possible. Examples for this type of data is height, weight, BP, pulse, etc. In all these examples, complete absence of the trait is possible. With ratio type of variables, we can do any statistical calculations like mode, median, mean, and we can also compare the value of the data because we can express them in ratios. All types of descriptive statistics and inferential statistics are possible with this type of data in ratio scale. Here what you're seeing is the flow chart for making the decision about your data. In order to find out which level of scale your data is in, you should ask the following question. First question you should ask is, can your data be ordered in a meaningful way? Mind that you cannot order males first and females second because there is no meaning in it. If your answer is no, then you can come to the conclusion that it is nominal data. It can only be categorized, that's all. If your answer is yes, then ask the next question, whether there is equal interval between the values. If your answer is no, then the data is ordinal. If your answer is yes, then ask the next question, whether there is a true zero value. If your answer is no, then you arrive at the conclusion that it is interval scale. And if your answer is yes, then it is ratio level, and you can perform the statistical procedures accordingly. This decision making is important to avoid making any miscalculations, like trying to find out the mean or the average of an ordinal data or nominal data. Like the mean of the gender or trying to find out the mean of marital status, it is always best to use the highest scale of measurement, namely the ratio scale, to be able to perform all statistical operations. Now we have come to the best part of the video, namely the assignment. Here goes. Find the suitable scale of measurement for the following data. You are asked to find the correct scale of measurement for the given data. 1. Temperature in Celsius. Try to answer yourself. If not, it's not possible, then listen to my explanation. Temperature in Celsius. See, temperature in Celsius, it can be arranged in order. And there is equal distance between two values in the temperature scale. That is, the difference between 9 degrees Celsius and 8 degrees Celsius is equal to difference between 80 and 81 degrees Celsius. But there is no true zero. So this is interval scale. The temperature in Celsius is an interval scale. Question number 2. Numbers on the t-shirt of the football players. You notice some numbers on the back side of the t-shirts of the football players, isn't it? So what scale they are in? See, the numbers on the t-shirt of the players is meant only for identifying the players. You cannot arrange them in any order. It makes no sense, isn't it? So it is nominal, just for namesake, identification purpose. So numbers on the t-shirt of the football player is in nominal scale. And question number 3, attitude scale. See, it can be arranged in order, but there is no equal interval and there is no true zero. So it is ordinal scale. And all attitude scale, perception scales are in ordinal scale. And the fourth question is height in centimeters. It is ratio scale. It is the highest scale because since it has got order and it has got equal distance between the values and the zero is absolute. There can be no height also. And the fifth one is customer satisfaction. You classify them into good, average, bad. So what type of scale is this? See, here the categories are there and it can be ordered. Obviously, good is better than average and average is better than more than bad. So there is an order, but the distance is not equal. And in fact, we do not know whether the difference between good and average is the same as the difference between average and bad. So it cannot be interval because interval scale requires equal interval. See, make a note of the name interval. It means it requires equal interval. So this question, customer satisfaction, grouping them into good, average, bad, it is in ordinal scale. Sixth one, pain scale in a hospital. They measure pain scale which is numbered from 1 to 10. And what scale is that in? This is again ordinal because order is there. 1, 2, 3, 2 is greater than 1 and 3 is greater than 2 and 4 is greater than 3. But we cannot say the difference in pain between the third and fourth measurement is equal to the difference between fifth and sixth. So no equal interval. So this is ordinal scale. And the seventh one, country of birth. It is nominal scale because the country, it represents just the names. There is no order. See, just to see whether there is any order. Just first condition itself, it's not meeting. So you can stop there with this condition and conclude that it is nominal. When the first condition itself is not met with, you need not go for checking further conditions. So the country of birth, is there any order? No. So it is nominal. And zip code of your country. Again, it is nominal. Of course, there is numbers, but the number is meant for identification only. And these numbers mean nothing. Only categories are there, but you cannot arrange them in any meaningful order. Will you ever think of arranging the zip code in any order? Ascendingly, no. So it is just nominal data. And ninth one, amount of calories in your food. It is in ratio scale because the categories are there, order is there, and there is equal interval between the values. For example, the difference between 11 calorie and 10 calories is the same as the difference between 25 calories and 26 calories. And 0 is true because there can be absolutely no calorie in the food also. That is also possible. So this is in ratio scale. And 10th one, students scores in a biology test. And this is again in ratio scale. Here, I would like to mention that the scores in biology can be a ratio scale, as there can be true zero score. But if we say knowledge in biology or ability in biology, it cannot be 0. It becomes then interval. And 11th question, mathematical ability. So as I have told you earlier, because we are talking about ability, so it is interval scale. Here also, we cannot say there is absolutely 0 ability. So no true 0. So this is an interval scale. But if we say scores in mathematics, then we can talk in ratio scale also. See, the 12th question is matching. Match the scale with the properties. So you are going to match the scale with the corresponding properties. Now the correct answer is A 3, B with 1, and C interval scale with 4, and D with 2. Because A is nominal. So the nominal scale will have only categories. So 3 is the correct one. And B is ordinal data. And ordinal scale will have both categories and there will be order. So remember, order, ordinal, name, nominal. An interval, equal interval. And the C with fourth one, it has got categories, it has the order, and there is equal distance between the values. So C with fourth. And D, ratio scale with the second one. So it is the highest scale ratio. And you have got all the properties. Categories are there and they can be ordered in a meaningful way. And there is equal distance between the values. And there is true 0. So D with 2. A with 3, B with 1, C with 4, and D with 2. That is the correct answer. I hope you got the correct answer. And the 13th question is give reason. Median cannot be used in nominal data. The data or in nominal scale, you cannot find out median. Why? Because as I have told you, nominal data, you cannot arrange them in any order, in any meaningful. You can arrange them, but it will not make any sense. If only you can arrange the data in some meaningful order, then you can find the middle data, which will become the median. Okay, listeners, we have come to the end of the session. I hope you understood the difference between the 4 different scales of measurement, and you can now rightly choose the correct level of scale for your data in your research study. If you find this video useful and interesting, please subscribe to my channel upon Vaira Citadel. You can find the same topic, scales of measurement, with explanation in Tamil in my following video. Until then, bye bye.